guys, BOTI here, back with another episode of my TARDIS tutorial. In this episode we're going to be covering a new feature for the smaller on the outside of the TARDIS, and that is being able to have it work between dimensions. So previously it wouldn't because of cloning restraints. Basically you can't clone between dimensions. So I found a workaround for this that I think actually works really well. So let's just show you that. So this is the smaller on the outside as you'd know it in the overworld, and obviously it wouldn't work in the nether, so if you did go right now it would just look like this when you look outside. But I'll show you what it looks like when we actually go. And here we are materialized in the nether. You can see if we look outside, we've got endstone, we've got a red sky, and if we walk outside, we are indeed in the nether. You can see it didn't actually show what was outside the TARDIS. It didn't show this biome, it didn't show this nether fortress, it just showed blank netherrack platform. But honestly, this is the best it could get because, as I said, you really can't clone between dimensions. Obviously the interior of the TARDIS is in the overworld, and the exterior currently is in the nether, so I really can't actually use a clone command, so this was my workaround basically. And now I'll show you it with the end. And here we are materialized in the end. And you can see we have a purple sky now. And now we also have endstone on the ground. Of course, if you go outside, you will see that we actually have this end city here. Obviously the terrain's a little more hilly. There's chorus plants. So it's not showing you exactly what's outside. But it does give you a better idea than before, where it would literally just show wherever you last were in the overworld. And now we're back in the overworld, and obviously it's going to go back to how it was before. So how does this all work? Well, you want to come to your room where you have your little SOTO skies, and this was covered in the second video I did on SOTO, which was the real-time SOTO. And you can see here we have some brand new columns right here. And these are very similar to the ones before, where you're basically just filling in black or light blue concrete, depending on the time of day, to the three walls. And this is very similar, except obviously with red or purple concrete. Now the difference here is that it is also detecting what dimension the TARDIS is in. And these are obviously always active. It's not like this where, you know, they're active at certain times and whatnot. These are always active, hence the lever. You could also just make the command blocks themselves always active, but I chose a lever just so you could turn it on and off if you wanted. So if we take a look at one of these commands, there's a new bit added to the beginning, which is execute in the nether as at e name equals TARDIS distance equals 0 ... And then it's run execute in the overworld, and then it's running your fill command. So as for this beginning portion, we have, of course, execute in the nether as the TARDIS distance equals 0 ... That just means at least 0 blocks away. And basically the combination of these two things basically allows you to detect if the TARDIS is in the nether. And obviously what's happening here is if that is so, then in the overworld, it is filling in those blocks of those walls with the red concrete. And the end is basically the exact same thing. We have over here these three command blocks, and these are just filling in the three walls with purple concrete, and it's detecting if the TARDIS is in the end, which is obviously the exact same command. You're just replacing the nether with the end. And of course, the red concrete with the purple concrete. Obviously, these are the three walls. Of course, you don't need the back wall as usual, but these three walls are what we are basically changing with those commands. And then now let's get on to how we change the ground beneath the TARDIS. So for the ground beneath the TARDIS, you're going to want to come down to your SOTO controls. And this is obviously in my materialization room. And here we have two new chains of command blocks right here, alongside this one, which just cloned what was immediately around the TARDIS. And obviously these two are going to be our ones for the nether in the end, which are going to work a little bit differently. So as I said, you cannot clone between dimensions, so these do not use clone commands. Instead, what they are doing is executing in the nether if entity at e name equals TARDIS distance equals 0 ... So as I said, that is just detecting if the TARDIS is in the nether. And if so, it's going to activate these chain command blocks. Obviously you need these facing the same direction and set to chain conditional and always active. So this first one is going to do execute in the overworld, run, fill, and in this area with air. Now this area is basically referring to the entire inside of that SOTO box. So basically everything inside of those 3 walls that we mentioned is basically getting filled with air. So no more spawn, no more grass blocks, none of that. That's all getting removed basically from one corner to the other. And then what are we replacing it with? Well, we're basically just filling the ground with netherrack. And likewise, this is exactly the same. It's just with the end. So obviously we're filling with air once again and replacing with endstone. And just to demonstrate what I'm talking about real quick, it's basically this area here. Starting from here all the way up to this corner is what I have filled with air. And obviously that'll get rid of this command block here, but that does get replaced as seen in my original SOTO video. And then we are replacing basically from here on this dirt block here down to here with either endstone or netherrack depending on what we choose. And obviously, so that'll give us our netherrack or endstone ground. And obviously the command blocks from outside will give us the correct color of sky. And just to demonstrate one last time, I'm going to go to the nether and the end once again. So here is our outside for the overworld, for the spawn of the map. Let's go to the nether fortress. So we've arrived at the nether fortress. And once again, you can see we have our brand new backdrop here. So we filled in this ground with netherrack, like I said, and obviously those other command blocks have kicked in and changed the sky to this red color. And obviously the same is true of the end. You can see here is our end backdrop with our purple sky and our endstone. And of course, this isn't just limited to the end city or the nether fortress locations. This obviously would work on any location within those dimensions. So yeah, that's really all there is to it. This has been my tutorial on making SOTO work between dimensions. Hope y'all enjoyed. Obviously, this is a little bit compromised. It's not perfect, but it's the best I could really do given the limitations of vanilla Minecraft. That's really all there is to it. I've been Tibo2. Be sure to subscribe, to follow my Instagram, Tibo2IT, to follow my Twitter, which is also Tibo2IT, to join my Discord, and lastly, to have a nice day. Goodbye.